Hi guys, welcome back to my baby channel. If you are new here, so am I. I did only start my page probably about a couple months ago. Been uploading a few shorts, but I have a few mini series that I'm super excited to get out to you guys. So first things first, my name's Grace. I am a ex-Zumba instructor, then CrossFit athlete, now runner. Getting more into the running than I was back in the day with CrossFit. CrossFit was my number one, but now we're kind of cutting back on the CrossFit a little bit and definitely working a little harder with our running. So we've got a lot of topics I want to cover today. I posted a few questions on my Instagram and I didn't go back and answer in there because I wanted to create kind of a long, let's sit back and chat, make it personal type of thing. So go ahead and grab your coffee, your water, get comfortable because you're gonna hear me, yeah. If you don't follow me on Instagram, be sure to follow me at MomsWad. So I posted a few questions that are some pretty hot topics when it comes to fitness and wellness. I figured we could go over the responses together and give you my take on a few of these common responses that I get all the time. So my first question, we kicked it off with, do you work out and what style of workout do you prefer? I got a lot of the same responses here. The most common response I got was running and lifting, which was actually kind of a surprise, being that a lot of my followers are Run Disney friends. So I figured the majority of them are into running, but with the running and lifting, I was very happy to see that we had so many hybrid athletes. Lifting is definitely a huge component when it comes to becoming a better runner. If we are not lifting and running, we are actually more prone to injuries when it comes to our knee strength and ankle mobility and things like that. Weightlifting will always strengthen you as a runner. We definitely want to work on things that are unilateral. Did get a few Pilates. I know Pilates is a big thing right now. Pilates is great. Definitely good for your runners to build that strong core and glutes, which is definitely something that we pull from as runners. You don't really realize as runners, we need to have strong hamstrings, strong quads in order to support our knees. I do enjoy Pilates and I want and need to get into strength training. So that leads me into my next question. Why don't you like lifting weights? So we have a lot of different common answers here. Gym anxiety, fear of free weights, and also bulking. Bulking is a huge one, especially for our women. I have been weightlifting since 2016 with CrossFit. Prior to that, I did a little bit of lifting in commercial gyms, just my husband and I. We created our own programming. But when it came to actual programmed weightlifting, we started CrossFit back in 2016. I can guarantee it is not easy to bulk. You will not bulk the way that you think you will, even if you wanted to. These girls you see as CrossFit athletes or competition weightlifters, they are training 3 hours plus a day. So unless you have the ability to train 3 hours a day and eat the way that they eat, you will never get there. I'm so sorry to break it to you, but you will not bulk the way that they do. A few of the responses I received was that they don't know what they're doing. So my answer to this is nobody knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing, especially in the beginning, but we all started somewhere. So if you don't know what you're doing, just ask. Don't be afraid to ask. There are a ton of seasoned people in the gym that are willing to help you if you truly don't know what you're doing. And now, in the day and age that we live in on YouTube, there's so many ways to teach yourself how to do certain movements or create a program for yourself that you are comfortable doing in the gym around strangers. Don't let the fear of not knowing hold you back as an athlete. 9 times out of 10, if you ask somebody for help, they will be more than happy to help you learn in the gym. Gym anxiety, same thing. Why are we so anxious to go into the gym? Everyone had a day one. So don't compare your day 1 to someone's day 201. If they've been doing it for years, they have built upon their day 1. The biggest thing for gym anxiety, I would say, is probably to find someone who's willing to go to the gym with you. A lot of times having somebody with you will give you that extra courage that you may need in order to handle those free weights. Gym anxiety, fear of bulking, and not knowing what I'm doing is probably the top 3 answers I had as to why people don't lift. Lifting is not for everyone, and I understand that. But if one of those is your reason as to not lifting, then you should be lifting. Just start. As with everything, day 1 is always going to be the hardest, and you're going to build on that. So please, please, please don't let your lack of knowledge hold you back. I think the majority of the people that follow me are lifting and running, which is great. I love to see a hybrid athlete. I think it makes you better as an athlete in the area of your expertise, whether that be running or weightlifting. I think they go hand in hand and should be done simultaneously, but safely. With that, I then asked, why do you hate running? So many people hate running or say, I want to be a runner just like you. I wish I enjoyed running. Newsflash, I don't love running. Running will always humble you, and that's what I love about it. I love a challenge, and that's what's the most amazing part about running. Running is so challenging, and it always will be. Lifting is too. If you are obviously doing a progressive overload, lifting will always be a challenge as well. But running has so many different factors, so many elements that can change your feeling in a run day to day. So you could have an amazing run and then come out, do the exact same thing, fuel the same way, have an amazing sleep, go out, run the same path, and have a completely different day. You could come back and say, that was the worst run I've ever had. Meanwhile, you did everything exactly the same. But we have to constantly be learning and changing when it comes to our running, because every single day will be different. Every run will be different. And one bad run will not define your next run. So most people responded that they hate running because they don't have endurance. Neither did I. Endurance is built. You are not born with endurance. You need to practice endurance. Without practice, you will never build endurance. I thought going into running from CrossFit, I had some sort of a base for endurance. Boy, was I wrong. It just doesn't work that way. Running and CrossFit or running and Pilates, they're all their own beast. And yes, having that base helps to some degree. Lifting will always make you stronger as a runner. Pilates will make you stronger as a runner. But the endurance part is something totally different. You need to practice the endurance, build that endurance in order to have endurance. Some runs are just bad and I feel like I'm going nowhere. Again, one bad run will not define you as a runner. We all have bad runs. I have had a multitude of bad runs. The amount of runs that I have come back from in tears, the amount of runs that I've been in tears during the run. It happens, it's okay, we move on. Don't let one bad run define you as a runner. One bad lift does not define you as a lifter. One bad race does not define you as a runner. You will always, always, always have bad runs. But if you let that determine your future as a runner, then you'll never enjoy running. Running is an amazing test to your mental strength. And I think that is part of the reason I love running. And someone said currently because it's summer. If you are in the southern states, you will understand this 100%. I believe this friend of mine is in Georgia. They are probably feeling the heat just like we are here in South Florida. So they say summer running makes you a better runner. So hopefully we will see that come into fruition at our next half marathon, a Wine and Dine in October. Someone said, I don't hate running, but my knees are old and I feel slow sometimes. Again, if you don't practice, you'll never gain that speed. You'll never get that endurance. You have to go through the bad moments, the bad runs in order to improve as a runner. Unfortunately, there will be plenty of bad days, plenty of bad runs, but you have to push through and continue to challenge yourself in order to get better. When it comes to the bad knees, unless you have an actual injury or deterioration, things like that, you can definitely do all types of therapy. You can recover better. I find that in the weeks of training where I am on point with my recovery, with icing my knees, with my supplements, things like that, I definitely find that I am much more comfortable. I do not have the perfect knees. I have what's called chondromalacia, and that is basically divots in the cartilage in my knees. So I am basically running bone on bone. And I have some bad weeks where I need my brace, weeks where I don't need my brace. If I take supplements or not, I feel the difference. If I am cooling down and recovering after my runs, I feel the difference. And if I'm not, I definitely suffer. I feel a weakness in my knees when I don't recover properly. So having bad knees is a broad statement. Are you actually injured? Or is there something you can do to better your knees and allow you to be a runner? How many times am I going to say definitely? My next question led into nutrition. Nutrition is a touchy subject. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you should and shouldn't be eating. I try my hardest to stick to an 80-20 rule. I definitely don't do a very good job at sticking to an 80-20 rule, but we're human, we do our best. It was 3 or 4 main points that everyone touched on. One was kids. Now, kids can be our reason or they can be our excuse. One of the biggest things I had to teach myself, I had to rewire my brain after becoming a mom. I don't think this actually clicked until I had my second child, but you are not a human disposal. Stop cleaning your children's plates. I had such a hard time in the beginning when I became a mother that throwing away food physically hurt me. Kids hit a certain point, I'm sure we all know, where they say no to everything. They don't eat anything that you make and you feel like you are constantly throwing away food. So what do? We eat the leftover French fries. We eat the last bits of chicken nuggets. We finish the mac and cheese. Those things always add up. We don't think that they do, but they are a lot heavier on your macronutrients than you think. Next up was hormone shifts. This is a big one for me. I am very, very in tune with my body. I can tell you when I'm ovulating, when I'm not, when I'm about to start my cycle, and basically all based on how my body feels and I guess my mood and also cravings for that week. Stress eating is a big thing. I luckily am not a stress eater. I actually don't eat as much when I am stressed. If I am too busy or stressed, I don't eat, which is also not good for our progress. Under eating and overeating are just as bad for your progress. But I digress. Stress eating is a very, very hard thing to overcome, and I understand that. But It's okay as long as we are aware of what we are doing. So if we are stress eating in that moment, allow yourself that time to overcome that stress and then jump right back into your nutrition. You don't want to go 2, 3, 4 days of that stressful eating, but a day here, a day there is not going to hurt your progress. So allow yourself to have that moment, give yourself a good cry, and move on. If you don't allow yourself those days, then that's when we're going to have those binge-worthy moments, and we don't want to lead up to that. Obviously, we want to have everything in moderation. We are not cutting anything out completely. Everything in moderation is perfectly fine, because you can have too much of a good thing just as you can have too much of a bad thing. So if we have everything in moderation, we try to follow that 80-20 rule as best as possible. Things happen, life happens, events happen. I understand. That's perfectly fine. Cutting back slowly, you will see that you will be able to stick to a nutrition plan much more easily. The other thing people mentioned mostly was time management. Time management for me boils down to how badly do you want it. If you can say that you are willing to stay up late to prep for your next week, then you want it bad enough. If you are not willing to stay up late or wake up early, then you don't want it. Bottom line is you don't want it bad enough. Time management should not be the thing that holds you back. If you want it bad enough, you will find the time, you will create the time, you will prioritize time to meal prep. So many people say to write down your workout in your calendar as a date with yourself. Meal prep should be in your calendar as a date with yourself that you cannot break. If your meal prep day is on Sunday, make sure that you are back home at that time every Sunday in order to meal prep for your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Meal prep in the middle of the week if you have to. Meal prep when you can. If that's what's going to keep you on track, then that's what you need to do, and that's what you need to prioritize. We all need to learn how to manage our time better. I understand that. I find myself doom scrolling sometimes. Take a peek at your screen time. Every app has a screen time. You can add up all that screen time and see where you would have been able to fit in that time to meal prep or to get in that extra workout or those 10,000 steps that everyone is trying to hit. Lastly, most people were mentioning things like being weak and having cravings and sweet tooth and things like that. Again, we're not cutting out everything. We don't have to cut out everything. The point of this is to cut back. Yes, we want to remain in a calorie deficit. If we are staying active, that's much easier to do. If you are in a calorie deficit and that chocolate strawberry true fruit fits in your macros, then have it. Have that little sweet treat, because if you allow yourself to have that little sweet treat, you are less likely to binge. Binging is where the problem is, not that piece of fruit with chocolate on it. It's the entire pizza pie where the problem is. So allow yourself to have those little moments. Allow yourself to enjoy those things that you enjoy. Don't cut back on the small things. We want to cut back on the bigger picture. My coffee is straight creamer. There is no sugar-free creamer in my coffee. I don't use a lot. And when I say I don't use a lot, measure out your food. You will be so surprised by what you consider to not be a lot. When I thought I was only using maybe 2 tablespoons of creamer, which is 2 servings, I was using 4 servings. I am still using 4 servings. And there are times where I have this twice a day. So now I'm having 8 servings of creamer twice a day, but this is what gets me by. So I'm not going to cut this out. I'm going to fit it in to my macros. And that's where I'm going to cut back on other things that don't fill my cup. And just because you allowed yourself that sweet treat doesn't mean you have fallen off your nutrition. If we absolutely hate what we're doing, we're going to quit. We're going to fall off. That being said, I had seen recently another YouTuber had posted about, I think it was a CrossFit athlete, now I'm not remembering correctly, but they said, start seeing food as fuel, not a reward. A long time ago, I had seen somebody say, we are not dogs, so stop rewarding yourself as one. And that stuck with me for so long, but I kind of like this one a little better. Start seeing food as fuel and not as a reward. And that may help you get through those cravings and sweet treats. But again, if you have to have it, allow yourself that little enjoyment. Allow yourself to have that little treat. Lastly, my question was, what do you think helps motivate you to stay on track? Motivation is a huge, controversial topic in the fitness industry. Everyone says, don't rely on motivation, rely on dedication and consistency and how badly do you want it. I agree, but let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Motivation is a huge driver for our success in our fitness journey. We all find motivation somewhere, and that is definitely one of the things that keeps us on track is motivation. So what is your motivation? A ton of people said having something on my schedule. That is a huge one for me. So as motivated as I may seem, in the gym 6-7 days a week sometimes, I always have something on my schedule. If it's not in the past a CrossFit competition, or now as a runner, some sort of race day, I always have to have something on my schedule. I need to have something to work towards. If having something scheduled keeps you motivated, do it. Sign up for that 5K that's in 3 months. That will keep you motivated for the next 3 months. Once you've accomplished that 5K, set another goal. We want to set shorter goals because reaching shorter goals more frequently will keep us motivated. Every time you reach a goal, you're seeing that progress. So now, with that being said, if you are not running and you are lifting or you are on a weight loss journey, please set smaller goals. Smaller goals are going to keep you motivated longer. Someone else mentioned seeing progress. So by setting your smaller goals, you are going to be seeing progress much more frequently. Reaching those goals is much more rewarding than having to wait to see that 30-pound weight loss 6 weeks from now. So if we're setting goals for 1 pound a week or hitting my macros 5 days in a row, those are the types of progress and short-term goals that will keep us motivated longer. Longer goals can feel at times so far out of reach that eventually you get discouraged and we quit. And that is so common in the fitness industry, unfortunately, that people don't reach that 30-pound weight loss goal. So they quit just before they hit that goal. So again, set the shorter goals, week by week, month by month. Those are the goals that will keep you motivated. People mentioned friends. They mentioned friends like me. Having a community is so big, especially in the running community, having people that can motivate you. Some people like actually having that friendly competition. I am one that loves to have friendly competition. I will not compare, but knowing where someone is and knowing that I can get to that or that I can be just as good, if not better. And that's okay. Friendly competition is not bad. Having someone show their pace times, and I know some people are triggered by pace times, but for me, seeing someone's pace is so motivating. It keeps me going. It gives me something to strive for. If you don't have that race day, have that friend who's that much faster than you or training that much harder than you so that they can motivate you to be better. They are going to be the ones who are going to be your friendly competition and not feel anything by it. They're going to be just as happy to be your inspiration as you will be trying to achieve what they're doing. And lastly, some people mentioned the feeling after. So the motivation can come after doing that hard thing, after doing what you felt was impossible, something that you didn't want to do. Not every day are you going to wake up at 5 a.m. and get in the gym and rock that workout. It may just be some days that you woke up, walked in the gym, and moved your body for 20 minutes. And that's okay, because that's all we need to motivate us for the next day. So once we get in and we move our body and we realize how good we feel, even though we didn't want to be in the gym that day, then you will be motivated to come back and work twice as hard the next day, or if not 2 days later. So don't get discouraged by one bad day, one bad run. There will always be bad days. There will always be better days. So I hope that this video helped you guys a little bit, kind of gave you a little insight on how I feel and where I stand, and that we are all human and we're all on the same page. Talk to you guys soon. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Coffee is not hydration. I love you guys, and thanks for hanging out with me today.